everybody, Brooks from Drag Times here. I'm out here at Champion Porsche, and look what I got right here, the new Taycan Turbo S. Now, we've seen some videos done around this car, driving around, impressions and so forth, but we haven't gotten any numbers yet, so I brought all my gear. I'm out here with Mitra. We're gonna check out some of the features of this car, and then I got the Dragy and the VBOX. We're gonna take it out and get some real-world numbers on Taycan Turbo S, and then compare it against some of the other cars I've driven. And then maybe next week we got a track rental, and I'm hoping we can get this car out and finally get Taycan Turbo S versus the Tesla Model S Performance. So let's take a look at the car right now, check out some of the stuff, and then take it for a drive. All right, I'm here with Blake from Champion Porsche. We're gonna go over some of the features inside the Taycan, and then we're gonna take it out for a test drive. So I'm showing right here we got 50%, 57% charge. Now you're saying that does not matter at all with regards to performance?
Nope.
Wow. So in a Tesla, you got to have this close to 100% to get maximum performance.
That's right.
So we don't need to hit the charger.
No.
We're all good.
We're good to
You're
go.
guaranteeing that.
I'm guaranteeing that we're still going to be doing a pretty significant 0 to 60 time
okay.
in this car.
Now, have you done some quarter-mile testing yet?
I have not.
Okay. So I got all my gear. We're going to get some of the numbers that no one else has gotten before, because I got the Dragy and the VBOX and all that kind of stuff. So let's go over some of the modes that we're going to have it in.
Right here on the steering wheel.
Okay.
So first one is in range, which is going to be the eco mode, basically. And then you have normal for comfort, sport, which we're going to keep it in most of the time, and then sport plus all the time. Okay, so sport plus is activating all the fastest features. That's it.
It looks like we got sport plus suspension here.
Yep. I was going to put the car in its lowest setting.
Okay, the car actually raises up and down as well?
Yep.
Interesting, all right.
And it does it pretty quickly as well, so that way you have different options, especially if you're going to be on steep driveways.
Okay.
Plenty of ground clearance. Its car's in its lowest mode right now in Sport Plus. It's also going to put it in its lowest mode during range mode.
Okay.
For the best
aerodynamics.
efficiency. Yeah.
Sure.
Best efficiency.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what other settings do you have in here? Do I see a traction control there?
Yeah, we have traction control. That will show that if you click and hold it, it will turn it off.
Okay.
When it's lit up, it's off.
Okay.
But then you have quick settings, so for your chassis rebound.
Okay.
For suspension rebound, and then you have ride height right here.
Okay.
And then this is a programmable button.
Okay.
So you can adjust things. I programmed the diamond button on the steering wheel for the electric sports sound. Which is
so it makes noise?
It does.
So you can turn that on and off?
You can.
Okay. So right now the noise is on.
Right now I believe it's off, so we can double check it right in here. And oh no, it's on. So when you put it in drive, you'll start hearing a very light drone. Once you start moving, it'll start sounding very spaceship-y.
Like what, like Star Trek-ish?
Exactly.
Gotcha, okay. So right here we got the drive mode, the chassis mode, sport plus, low, recuperation accelerator, that's regenerative braking?
Regenerative deceleration and braking. So the braking is always regenerative. Deceleration, when you let off the accelerated pedal, I know that in a Tesla it feels like the car is braking.
Correct.
In this one, it actually feels equivalency to a 911 in third gear deceleration. Okay. So they made it feel like a gas engine.
Like an engine braking.
Exactly.
Almost, right? Okay,
exactly.
Gotcha. And that's adjustable, or it's just on or off?
It's on, off, or auto.
On, off, or auto, gotcha. All right, in here we got the main kind of gauge screen here. We got a screen down here, another screen here. Now you're saying there's an optional fourth screen.
There's an optional fourth screen.
What do you get over there normally?
Passenger display screen, and it's going to display navigation and media and a few of the passenger settings.
Okay, so instead we get that over here?
Yeah, so instead, I mean, it's all integrated. Only here just adds a little bit easier access to it.
So here we
options
got
on this screen.
Charging, not charging system. We got navigation, media, phone settings, service, weather. Yeah, all that stuff's nice. And then climate. So you can control the climate from up here and down here, or that's just...
You're controlling climate, temperature, and fan speed right here.
Okay.
So we have individual climates for your side, my side, and then there's two more in the rear. You can adjust fan and then temperature here. But right now it's on auto.
Gotcha.
So it'll automatically adjust.
Gotcha.
And if you click right here, it'll bring up this menu like we have.
Right.
And then you can adjust air vents, because all the AC vents are actually electronic. They're no longer manual.
That's a little Tesla-ish, honestly. The Model 3, you do it like this too.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting.
So it's the way the future...
I find that a little frustrating, but you can still move it manually?
You can't.
You can't?
Yeah, and they actually built these out of aluminum now, so that way you can't break them off.
Interesting. Yes. I guess that's the way everyone's going. Interesting.
Yes, yeah. I don't see it.
I'm not a huge fan of that, but I guess...
So my thing I would do is, if I had my AC settings in this car, I'd just put it right on focus, and I wouldn't even touch it again.
Well, that's interesting. The Tesla doesn't have that.
Yeah, so like presets.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Tesla, you just have to bring it up and do it like that.
Yeah.
So on here you have selectable different screens. We got GeForce Max, GeForce, Instant. So we'll leave that up to see how many G's it pulls on the launch. Looks like we got a max of 1.22. Is that braking on the bottom or?
That's acceleration on the bottom and braking on the top.
So even the corners are hitting over a G. Wow.
Yep, corners are hitting pretty good G's. And then you can go down to PDCC, which is dynamic chassis control.
Okay.
The car has a self-leveling system in the corners.
Okay.
So that way when you're pulling hard right and the body's going to want to roll to the left, the actual air ride suspension system will elevate that side of the car to keep it at a 0-degree body roll.
Gotcha, and that's on all the time.
It is on all the
time.
time.
But over here, we'll just give you a display of actually what's happening.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see in action.
And then what else? We got tire info, yeah, pressures, PDCC, we went over that.
All wheel just shows you, that shows you where
that shows you torque distribution?
Yeah, exactly where the tire's going.
Gotcha. Yeah. And then G-force, traffic signs, what do we got there?
Traffic signs gives you, when you're in a range where it picks up the speed limit on the road, it'll tell you what the current speed limit is of the zone that you're in.
Okay, gotcha. And then assistance systems.
PDC, that's your InnoDrive, adaptive cruise control, so it's the self-driving system of the car.
Okay, gotcha. Well, yeah, let's go for G-forces so we can see that. All right, so let's go over launch control. Yep.
So to activate launch control, car needs to be in Sport Plus.
Okay.
And then when you're at a complete stop,
you gotta put it in drive, right?
Yep.
Okay, so now we're in drive.
So
the car has a little bit of creep. It does creep when you let go.
It does creep always.
Yep.
And then just to activate it, you press the brake down, floor it, and then let go of the brake, and
that's it.
Takes you for a ride.
That's it.
That's it.
Very simple.
Super simple.
So simple Porsche launch control, basically like turbo S's and all this stuff. As long as you're in drive and you do it. Yep. Does it light up and say launch control right here?
It will tell you. So when you put the brake down and then you hit the gas or the accelerator, it will prompt you, say launch control activated. That's when you know you're ready to go.
Ready to go. And then is there a timeout of how long you can hold it down?
I haven't gotten to it, but and not that I'm aware of. I would estimate that the car shouldn't be, gearing up for over 10 seconds.
Right. All right, here's Kyle. I'm gonna break his balls. All right, Kyle. Let's. Can we go over the definition of charging the car? Because I'm just a little confused about our conversation we had like 9 times, and he actually yelled at me. He said, "Brooks, stop asking me if the car is charged."
I'm not a very good liar, so I'll just.
So
I thought it was charged.
You thought it was charged? It said like 57% now. Now Blake's telling me it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, because it's efficient.
Because it's efficient?
Yep.
All right, well, we're 50%.
Did you drive it yet?
No, we're just going over all the features. And we're going to go hook up all the gear, and then we're going to take over a test drive. But let's go over the definition of see, this is 56%.
Yeah, I know.
That's not fully charged.
That's basic mathematics.
Basic math?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, anyways, for all the haters out there, you can buzz Kyle. I'm gonna put his Instagram on there.
I'm sorry.
He's an awesome photographer. He's the one who took the shots of my Ford GT, which I framed on my wall.
Really?
Incredible.
Did you?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
he's just unbelievable photographer.
Yeah.
So next up we got GT500. When I get that, let's take it out and get some shots.
I've been bothering you like every day.
Well, trust me,
I want to shoot that car
so
bad. I really want to shoot that car so bad.
We'll get it done. All right, it's Porsche time though.
Go have fun.
Right,
finally, it's Porsche time in your world.
Yes, it is.
I have been telling him how great Porsche is.
Yes.
And for months and months and months, he has never given me a chance to prove how great Porsche is as a brand. Well, hopefully,
I love Porsche.
Don't let him talk.
I love the 918
Don't let him
Spider.
talk.
That's my favorite car.
Anyway,
so 918 or Taycan.
I hope this sways you.
All
I'm
right.
really pretty stoked.
All right. Well, you got to give me a good deal if I want one.
We'll talk later.
Okay, bye. All right, so we're here just kind of driving around. It has creep, so it moves forward when you let go a little bit. And we're in all the sport modes. We're just gonna test drive a little around, and then we'll take it to the private area.
Perfect.
It actually spun a little bit right there.
It does. Tires are a little cold.
Okay.
So they're all. I think there's a ride on all seasons, right? No, he changed them.
Okay. Now you said that there's some warm up. That after you launch it a couple times, it gets faster.
No, that's just for battery recuperation.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
For battery charging, for the most efficient, and. So batteries need to be at 88% or 88 degrees to be efficiently charged.
Now, can you monitor that from inside the car?
You can. We can actually change the gauge over here to display it, but we'll probably do that in a second here.
Gotcha. So you get a lot of looks when driving this around?
Yes.
Yeah?
A lot of people think it's a Panamera.
It does look like a except for the front. So
yes.
From the sides and the back, I can tell, but like I saw one driving around by my neighborhood.
Yep.
And I was like, is that it? And then I looked at the front and it was... is the turbo, not the Turbo S.
Exactly, and some people are, a lot of people don't really know.
Yeah.
They're not even aware that Porsche has come out with a
fully electric car.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Oh, wow. Jeez. I felt the transmission shift right there.
You feel 100%. Second gear.
Yep. And we're moving. That should be plenty. Oh, wow. Jeez. I felt the transmission shift right there.
You feel
100%.
Second gear.
Yep. And we're moving. That should be plenty. Woof. So weird to feel the shift because I'm not used to that in the Tesla.
Nope.
Wow. And everything went flying in the car.
That does not get old. Holy hell.
What a riot.
Yeah, that second gear switch is pretty insane to feel. Because you not only, you sort of feel it, but you hear it. And it's,
You can hear it, yeah. It bangs right there for sure. Here we go. I felt a little better. Felt the shift. So quiet.
Yeah, those brakes are good.
Woof. All right. Ready?
Yep.
Here we go. I felt a little better. Felt the shift. So quiet.
Yeah, those brakes are good.
Woof. All right.
Dude, it's hard to breathe.
So much fun.
Yeah, that's sick.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Here we go. I felt a little better. Felt the shift. So quiet.
Yeah, those brakes are good.
Woof. All right.
Dude, it's hard to breathe.
So much fun.
Yeah, that's sick. That's
wow. All right, so next up we got the Taycan Turbo, not the Turbo S. Price difference is about how much?
Base price on the Turbo is $150.
Okay.
Yep.
So about what, $30,000?
Yeah, $35,000.
So it's a $30,000 upgrade for the Turbo S. We dropped the Turbo S on the Charger. We're going to charge it up, and then this one's at 92%.
92%.
We're going to take this out and test it, so you get to see Turbo versus Turbo S, what the actual performance differences are. All right, so now we are in the Taycan Turbo, not the Turbo S.
Not the Turbo S.
Dude, it's still fast.
It's still fast.
Hey, I felt the downshift right there. Did you feel that? Interesting.
Yes.
It didn't do it that time. There's no paddle shifters though to get that gear, is there?
None. Yeah, computers
Wow.
are doing it. Computers are now doing it all for
Right?
you. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the car's still not slow at all by any stretch of the imagination. But for to compare, because these both Turbo and Turbo S have a additional battery pack plus, so it adds an additional 93 kilowatts.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
So did they tell you the power differences between the Turbo and the Turbo S?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're looking at 660. Like if you're trying to do horsepower figures, you're looking at 660 for the Turbo, and you're looking at 750 for the Turbo
so
S.
90 horsepower difference.
Yep. I got you.
Now we're at 91%. 92%. And we were at 57% when we drove the Turbo S.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's got a ton of torque. Even this.
Yes, it does.
Wow. So what is your guess, 0 to 60? Because we did 2.6-ish in the Turbo S.
Yes.
What do you think this is going to do?
I want to say 2.9.
2.9.
Yeah.
Under 3 seconds. That's still super impressive. So 100 horsepower less, but still a ton of torque off the lines. That's interesting, right?
Yep.
So 0 to 60 could still be there. Maybe just the top end drops off a little more.
Yeah, I definitely think we're going to be in a slower quarter mile. But, but I think I'm saying I think maybe 7 mile per hour difference in a quarter, and
so you're guessing 11.5 at 120. Okay. I think it's gonna crack under 6. I think it's gonna go under 3 seconds to 60, and I think it's gonna go like an 11.3.
Okay.
Go. Turbo. Launch control enabled. Activated. Go. Oh, it's 60. There we go. Brakes are great.
Yeah. Brakes are heavy on this car. Holy shit.
There you go.
Wow, that braking performance is incredible. Damn.
Turbo. Launch control enabled. Activated. Go. Oh, it's 60. There we go. Definitely not pulling as hard, but still moving really fast. Brakes are great.
Yeah. Brakes are heavy on this car. Holy shit.
There you go. All right, here we go. Test 2 of the turbo. Launch enabled. Go. Yeah, see, it doesn't spin.
No.
There we go. We got 60.
ABS kicking in. Cool.
Here we go. Felt that shift. Launch enabled. Go. Yeah, see, it doesn't spin.
Nope.
There we go. We got 60.
ABS kicking in. That's cool.
So we gotta hit that 130 mark. All right, let's get to the numbers. Is anyone else confused? Well, I am, and I think we all were a bit confused. Before we go to the numbers, I just want to say thanks to Champion Porsche for having me out. They spent a considerable amount of time with me, letting me test drive both cars. I didn't do a wrap up on site because I want to get back and look at the numbers, and actually there's a ton of people who wanted to check out the Taycan over there. So if you're looking for a Taycan and you want to check it out or order one, go ahead and hook up with the guys over at Champion Porsche. So let's just get started by saying, as you saw in the video, if you watched the whole thing, I really wanted to make sure that we got the best results possible for the Taycan. I had checked with them ahead of time over the past couple of weeks about times to come out, asked them to make sure the car was fully charged. There were absolutely no questions. Now, when I got there, unfortunately, the car was sitting at 57%. And they clearly weren't worried about the performance because, as Porsche has stated and as previous tests have reported, back in August, there was another reviewer who took the Taycan out with a Porsche engineer. They ran 0 to 200 kilometer per hour runs over 30 times, and they said performance did not degrade at all. So as we're looking at the 57%, I'm like, well, I'm here, we might as well run it. And as per that video, performance didn't degrade at all. So let's just give it a try and see what happens. We tested the Turbo S twice, and we got nearly identical numbers. The numbers that I'm throwing up here are actually from the VBOX. I find it easier. I can actually pull more data than I can from the Dragy with regards to 100 to 200 kilometers per hour and the 0 to 100 with the 1 foot rollout. So that's what I'm using to port here. Both numbers lined up extremely, to the 100th. So the Dragy and the VBOX were spot on one of the other, so there's no discrepancies there. But for this purpose, I'm actually using the VBOX, which you can see mounted in the back of the car, so I get the best satellite signal. So as you can see here for the Turbo S, 0 to 60 came in at 2.67 seconds. 0 to 100, 6.74, 100 to 200, 7.82, 60 to 130, 9.13, 8th mile, 6.94 at 99.9 miles an hour, and the end-all be-all quarter mile was 1088 at 124.52 miles an hour. We did it twice, nearly identical numbers. So when I saw those numbers, I'm kind of thinking to myself, I kind of expected a little better, especially given it having the transmission. I was expecting trap speeds near 130 miles an hour. The launch I wasn't so sure about because Porsche is claiming it does 0 to 60 in like 2.8 seconds or something like that. Now the experience of the launch to me was good, but it's definitely not as abrupt or as hard as the Tesla Model S P100D or the Model S Performance. We all know that those are hitting 0 to 60 in the 2.4 to 2.5 range. So I wasn't expecting that launch, but nevertheless, it still felt really, really good. Now this is where it gets really interesting because they had the turbo there as well. And I said, well, why don't we jump in the turbo? Because I thought a lot of people would be interested to see, you know, for that $30,000 from the turbo to the Turbo S, what kind of numbers does that get? Because I haven't seen anyone do that test yet. Now that car was sitting at 91% state of charge. But again, if the charge doesn't matter, we should get, you know, similar performance numbers or actually less performance numbers because the Taycan Turbo has 90 less horsepower than the Turbo S. So as you saw in the numbers, we both kind of sat there and were like, well, that's interesting. So the launch didn't feel as strong, but it was still really good. 0 to 60 coming in at 2.86 seconds, 100 miles an hour, and actually the same as the Turbo S, 6.75 seconds. 100 to 200, 7.23, better than the Turbo S. 60 to 130, 8.41. That's significantly better than the Turbo S. Eighth mile came in at 7.08 at 100 miles an hour, 100.8. And the quarter mile, 10.96 at 127.12 miles an hour. What does this show you? That if you ran the Turbo and the Turbo S as they were sitting right there, the Turbo would have completely walked away from the Turbo S you know, after basically 60 miles an hour. So what does this tell us? Well, first of all, it tells us that the Taycan Turbo is quite the performer in itself. I mean, 0 to 60 in 2.8 and running 10s in the quarter mile at 127 miles an hour. That 127 miles an hour and that 60 to 130 time is actually faster than the current latest and greatest from Tesla, the Tesla Model S Performance Raven model. So right here, I'll throw up the Tesla Model S Raven model that my friend Jason has. We tested it out. 0 to 60, 2.45 seconds. 60 to 130, 9.23 seconds. That's actually slower than the Turbo S we tested at 56% state of charge and the Turbo at 91%. And the quarter mile coming at 10.67 at 124.7 miles an hour. That time that you're looking at right there was not done at a drag strip. That was an unprepped surface, very similar to what we tested the Taycan Turbo and the Taycan Turbo S on. So at the end of the day, what does this really tell us? Well, my conclusion, I think everyone's gonna agree here, is that state of charge does matter with the Porsche. There's no question about it. Because the Taycan Turbo S sitting at 56% is trapping 124 miles an hour. The Taycan Turbo at 91% is going 3 miles an hour faster. For those of you who know about roll racing or drag racing, that is a significant difference. This Turbo would have just completely walked away from the Turbo S if they had raced side by side. So another interesting point, if I looked at the before and after, and this is just purely kind of guesstimating, right? I mean, each quarter mile pass on both cars roughly took about 2% charge out of the battery. So, you know, if the guys over who did those 30 runs are saying they didn't quite go full quarter mile, but if it was 1.5 to 2% per run, they did 30 runs, that would have dropped the battery down to similar to what I was at in this Turbo S in the 50% range. And there's no question that they would have run slower times by that. Now, maybe Porsche gave them a pre-production model and that one was doing better than this, but this is a production car. This is in the hands of consumers right now, and it's very clear that performance does decrease as the state of charge decreases with the Porsche. Now, of course, I want to get the best times for the Taycan. I offered to come back anytime, day or night, when that car is charged 100% to run my test again. Now, my thoughts on how the Taycan is going to run at 100%, based on what the Turbo did and just my gut feeling, is that it's probably going to go about 3 to 4 miles an hour faster than the Turbo at 90% state of charge. That's based on the 90 horsepower increase, and I definitely feel like Porsche is messing with the launch control in these cars. I think the Taycan Turbo, if they gave it a little more oomph off the line, could probably be just as fast as 60 as the Taycan Turbo S. So guessing here, Taycan Turbo S, 90% to 100% state of charge. I'm guessing it's gonna go over 130 miles an hour on the quarter mile. And if we're doing 0 to 60 in 2.6, maybe that drops down a little bit into 2.5 range. Tesla's gonna be in trouble. There's no question about it. I think that 60 to 130 time is gonna be right in line with a Lamborghini Huracan, which is in the mid sevens. And obviously mid sevens versus 9.23 here for the Tesla Model S is, you know, a severe beating on the top end. And that's probably due to the Porsche's 2-speed transmission that it has in the car. And with regards to the quarter mile, I'm guessing that the Taycan's probably gonna do 10.4 to 10.5, and that's pretty much what the Tesla Model S is doing. I think the best Model S run right now is a 10.51. So if we race these two cars heads up, it's a driver's race, no question about it. Whoever gets the jump off the light is probably gonna win the race. For the winner of the best ET, you know, car by itself, I've got a pretty solid feeling that Taycan could indeed beat the Tesla's 1051. I'd also like to mention the Taycan Turbo didn't spin at all on the launch, but the Taycan Turbo S, even at the lower state of charge, did give me a little bit of wheel spin, so I'm expecting definitely some better 0 to 60 times, probably in the 2.5 range. Now, we have a track rental coming up in just a couple of weeks. I'm really hoping we can get the Taycan Turbo S out there. My idea is to basically tow both cars to the drag strip at 100%, get the Tesla there at 100%, get the Taycan there at 100%, get some good drivers behind the wheels who can cut a decent light, and let's see really what happens when you race these two cars against each other. Well, that's all I got for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, all the data on the Taycan Turbo and the Turbo S, throwing in some Model S performance to compare it all. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. We'll keep the videos coming, and hopefully we can get these two cars racing down the track really soon. Thanks for watching.